So every day you are downloading, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So somebody can keep all this thing and give me later on. If you have any space to keep,
Yeah, sure, sir.
because so what about the classes? If you can store in your laptop and later on when you will come physically, you can give me. So okay. So Siddhartha, are you here today? Gaurav is here. So Siddhartha is not at joined. I don't know why, because both Gaurav and Siddhartha joined little late. So
Excuse me, sir.
huh.
Sir, I have not been added to the group. I joined using the link that my friend sent. So I mailed you about that. I have not yet added been to the.
Oh, you are in okay. You are in architecture, na?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'll. Otherwise, you just use the code. Anyhow, I'll add it.
Yes, sir.
You just WhatsApp me your roll number. I'll add it. Or your HOD, I think, sent yesterday.
Yeah.
So how many architecture people are here?
So we both are there too.
Okay. So, okay, when I was start. So you say the research design is very important in any research, because unless and until you are quite aware about that what exactly the research design is and how to do the research, it is very difficult to move ahead, because from your problem your research design will be identified. So we'll go step by step. See, if you look at this, the outline of this uh, lecturer, the selecting the topics for the research and factors affecting the problem for the selection, the pure versus applied research, the literature review, what is the research design, function of research design, types of research design, and summing up all these things we'll discuss. We'll focus mostly on this research design, because generally I prepared this PPT to cover the everything. But anyhow, for you people, I have already covered some aspects, so I'll mostly focus on the research design. But anyhow, prior to that, I'll tell something, because some of the students also newly joined. See, the selecting the topic for the research and factor of affecting is highly important for the selection of any problems, because unless and until you are very much careful and very much aware about all these things, it is very difficult to go ahead with your research. So see, selecting topic is the first and most important step in any research. You have to first, what you have to do, you have to first select the topics and also select your problem, then only you can proceed further, because I have told you from the very beginning, in any research you have to identify the problems and then you have to give a justification for the selection of that problem, because unless and until you give a very clarity, very rational behind the selection of your problem, it is not really justifiable. Otherwise, what will generally will happen? Ultimately, the people will tell it is a repetition. What the new you have done. So that's why the selection of the topic or the selection of the problem is very important, and which is very the first and foremost thing any research. For selecting a topic, there are no simple norms, but there are very few procedures which I have already discussed with you all. This involves the exploring the literature, discussing with the experts in the area, because I have already told you how to select the problems. This will facilitate to identify a range of possible interesting topics, because the moment you interact with the lots of the peoples, you discuss with the lots of the peoples that what exactly the emerging area, what is of research, and I specifically suppose I have told you that suppose you have an interest in a particular aspect, suppose we discussed about gender and all, so then you told that, sir, you develop an interest to work in gender, then what you can do, you try to explore that what exactly the areas in relating to the gender is very much important, so there only you focused the much. So then from when you focused much on the gender, then when you interact with the experts, when you've gone through the lots of literature, you found that the gender in primary education is a major concern which is mostly ignored. So what I'm telling, so the means from lots of literature and in interaction with the lots of experts, you selected an area, then slowly you went to a particular problem to and from which you decided your topics. Then the topics needs one's sustaining interest over a longer period of time. So you see there are two things. So you have to select a topic, you have to select an area on which you have interest, and also at the same time you should select an area which will have kind of general importance in the society. You should not select such an area which is not having much societal importance in the future. It should have a long run importance in the future, through that you can sell it in the market and survive. Because unless and until you think about your own survival, also it is very difficult. Because when you are established researcher, you can do the research in a different topics. But when you are starting a research and trying to be settled by selling your research, at least you should think of an interesting area which has relevance in the contemporary society and which will be relevant in the forthcoming years, at least for the 5-10 years in the future. You have to select that kind of topics for the research. And also you should have an interest in that area. It is not that somebody forced you to work. You should not work on that. You should first develop such an interest to work on this area. It is better to avoid a topic that is highly ambitious, challenging and time consuming. One may not be able to complete it in a reasonable time. See what exactly happens. Sometimes what happens when you choose your supervisor, and I'm not telling about your MA things, because your MA you have to very small assignment you have to do, because it is very you will get only very few months in your hands. You have to wind up your projects along with the other theory papers. But specifically, if you go for higher studies, if you go for MPhil, PhD, and later on in your life for the research, what I'm telling you, choose a topic which also means valuable topic, that it should not be highly ambitious. Because valuable means you will get into a topic, you should not feel that as if within 5 years or within 4 years or within 3 years I can explore everything. So it should not be in that sense. You should find a minimum things which is required for a PhD. You should not come with lots of objectives. Then at the end of the day, you will be mad and you will not able to complete your work in a stipulated time, which will later on will affect your service life or your life in establishment. So challenging and time consuming, all these things you have to select also how much time it will take, how much challengeable it will be in the society, whether you yourself is fit to do that topic or not, whether you can do this work or not. All these things you have to be careful. Because why I'm again repeating all these things, these are highly essential when we'll go toward the kind of adopting a research design. Because unless and until you are very much careful about the topic, how much time it will take, what are the challenges we may face from this topic, all these things, unless and until you are careful, unless and until you are very much clear, so it is very difficult to adopt a particular research design and also to move ahead. So that's why you should have a clear-cut knowledge about the topic and also what exactly you have to avoid. It should not be so much ambitious, it should not be much challenging, it should not be too much time consuming. So means you should be very much careful about all these things. Then only you can find out a problem, then you can develop a research design accordingly. Avoid topics that are closely linked to the emotional issue of your own life and some personal acts to the grain, as research requires honesty and objectivity. You see, this is highly important in any kind of research, because while you will formulate a research design also, you should not first select a topic with an emotional exposure, with an emotional issue. Suppose you have an emotional experience and then you started selecting an area that you will work. So then what will happen? It will be very difficult to give an honesty and objectivity to that research, because every time you will try to live your life into that domain. Getting my point? Suppose I am a divorced lady, I am being divorced by, and my family life is closely, highly affected. So I should not work on divorced ladies, because what will exactly will happen? Might be having certain kind of emotional attachment to my life and my lifestyle. If I work on that, then it may be little bit difficult in finding out the honesty and objectivity in that research. Okay, because why I develop an interest might be because of my own problem, my emotional attachment to my family, my divorce life and all these things. If I start working on this on divorced women and all, so then it may be, I am not telling that you cannot work, but the question is, it may raise a question in the future regarding your honesty and objectivity maintaining in your research throughout the careers. So that's why it is better to avoid on which you have an emotional attachment or having some personal connection. It is much better to begin with a hunch. Means you search, you go for kind of reading more materials, which I have already told you. Select a topic that has the potential to make an original contribution to the field, demonstrating the mastery of subject and methods. So what exactly you have to do always, you select a topic on which is very much original, on which the research are not being done much, so that you should find out that kind of things through which you can contribute to the society and which you can feel will be an original contribution to the society. The study must generate or help in validating the theoretical understanding in an area, because you see the major problem what exactly we are facing in the contemporary days, when most of the students are doing research, they are not connecting any theory to their research, which is
Sir, so good morning, sir. This is Vaishnavi.
yes.
So I just want to ask, you said like don't take a problem that is emotionally connected to you. So, but I think if it is like, I'm not saying like if it is emotionally connected, but if we have some personal life experience, we will personally try towards what exactly happening in the society. Will be more enthusiastic why it is happening in the society, and we will be more like interested to know the result of the research.
And I see, I'm not denying that you should not, when I completely, I'm not denying that you should not take. What I'm telling is better to avoid, because generally what happen, generally see, we have a sometimes what happen, if I have a certain kind of emotional attachment to that, so I will always, it will be difficult in my part to go for a kind of objectivity in research and to go for an honest, doing an honesty to the research, because generally what will happen, there will be a certain biasness. Suppose what I will tell, suppose you say, suppose I am a belongs to the Brahmin community, if I do research in Brahmin community, definitely what will happen, even though I don't believe in any caste, but what exactly will happen, ultimately if I do research on that, I will have a certain kind of biasness. I will never try to expose my community, even if I will find some weakness, find some negative things, I will never try to make it in expose. I may sometimes, what will happen, I may sometimes will try to make it in a balanced form, because I have certain kind of emotional attachment to my own community. So that's why I will teach you later on also the ethics and ethic approach. Means the problem of studying one's own society. You see, there is always a kind of advantage and also disadvantage. If I make a study in my own village, there is lots of advantage, because I have already some kind of prior information, prior knowledge and all these things. I may be comfortably work, but at the same time, while collecting the data, so I may face lots of difficulties in biasness. I may face lots of difficulties in collecting the in-depth information also. So all these constants are there, no doubt. When you have a personal experience, you may develop. You see, personal experience is different, and personal linking the personal life is different, and having a personal experience. You see, the personal experience is something different. The personal experience may be, see, sometimes we develop a problem from our personal experience only, because suppose I visited lots of the places, and from which I found that there are lots kind of spaces which the government can, suppose I'll tell you in the context of tourism, I developed an interest of working in tourism, and now most of my time I'm spending on working on tourism, and specifically ecotourism and general tourism. Now religious tourism, over tourism, all this I am working. So what I'm telling you, see, because this interest I developed because of traveling throughout the country, seeing that what are the potentialities are there in the tourism sector, and what are the areas to be being neglected, and how it can be used or utilized, seeing the experience from other states, how the different governments can utilize it for further strengthening the tourism and also generating the revenue and sustaining the livelihoods of rural people. That is my personal experience. Getting my point? Because my personal experience, my personal exposure helped me in developing or formulating a problem. But what I'm telling, the things on which I have a kind of emotional attachment, if I take that, you see, suppose a divorced woman who develop an interest to work on divorced women, generally what happens, so already she has a kind of emotional attachment that she is a divorcee. She has already understood the pain, and she might be always have a develop a tendency of negative tendencies towards the counterpart and counterpart's family and all. So when she will start reading and exploring the problem, always what will happen, she will be biased, and in always listening the voice of the divorcee women rather than understanding the counters, the husbands. So exactly the what happened, on what ground they're divorced, how much the husband was loving the wife also. So what I'm telling, so means it will be a kind of already a preconceived conception somebody will develop if somebody is having an emotional attachment to that issue. Got my point, Vaishnavi? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So this is actually the constant. You can do, but generally, actually, what is happening? So generally, it is wise to avoid, because of we always think of maintaining honesty and objectivity, because it is the case of everybody. It is the case of everybody. Generally, the people always avoid exposing the negative things of their own community or to whom they have a strong attachment. So see, then the study must generate or help in a validating theoretical understanding. That I was telling. See, unless and until, because this is majorly a problem in the contemporary research, because most of this time, what exactly happening, the students are not having proper understanding of the theories on which they are working. Generally, they are confining themselves doing a kind of project kind of thesis, writing the thesis like a project report rather than doing the research, because the moment you are doing academic research is always based on theoretical framework. You should have a proper understanding about the different theories which you can link to your research. Contradiction observed in a review of literature should be turned into opportunity to resolve them rather than a setback. Suppose if you find while doing the literature review on a particular topic and you find that there are lots of contradiction or linked to the topics you have taken while doing the literature review, you take that as a strength and focus on that. Why some people have given a contradictory statement, why some people have given a contradictory contribution to the existing literature review, why they have observed the things in a different way. You take that as a strength and do your research on that. This can offer an opportunity for carrying our critical study, because whenever you are doing any kind of research, you should be always critical in nature. You should always be very much critical, because unless and until you become very critical, you cannot do the study. Selection of a research area is based on researcher's speciality, interest, scientific background, and experience. This is the problem we have, and we are also exposing to all these things. See, what is exactly happening? See, sometimes in our higher education, the major problem is happening. We are selecting the students without seeing the backgrounds, whether the researcher is having a speciality or not, whether the researcher is having a scientific background in that particular domain or not. Because if I'll take a kind of, suppose I'll take a kind of students not from social science background, I'll take just engineering student and I'll tell that work from a sociological perspective. So he may do the research, but exactly what is his knowledge on the sociological theories, how he will link to those, at least the social science theories, whether it is economic theories, whether it is political science theory, whether it is sociological theories, means at least some kind of social science theories should be reflected in the domain of. See, when I did PhD, my PhD topic, I used most of the economics theory also. And also, along with economics theory, I used anthropological theories, sociological theories, because I was working on resource management. And resource, the moment we are telling the resource management, it is domain of mostly the economics and management, and also the social science and anthropology and sociology. All people have worked, so that's why we can do the research from interdisciplinary perspective. But taking the completely from a different domain, and which is not having any speciality, and having not background, not having further the former experience, only some people might be developing interest of doing research, may not be particularly developing interest in that area. It is really painful to go for a further research and developing a research design also. The priority of the topic of research depends upon the characteristic of the problems and the topics. See, whenever you are selecting the topic, before finding out the finalizing a research design and all, so you should find that there should be the it should have a priority area. Because generally sometimes what happens when the government advertise some kind of research projects, they always identify the projects, research proposals are invited in this priority areas. They mention certain priority areas, and you have to submit the research proposal accordingly, because you cannot submit the research proposal on your own interest and they may simply ignore it. The characteristic of a proposed study is based on the capacity, appropriateness, feasibility, cost effectiveness, and acceptability of the results. So all these things you have to be very much careful. The capacity of the researcher, you should very much first think of, when you should not select a topic on which you don't have the capacity. Suppose you don't have background and you selected a topic which is not on which you don't have any prior experience, and also you don't have any academic knowledge over that, simply you selected, and which is also not appropriate to your own interest and appropriate to your own domain of research, and it may not be feasible for you to do. And there are some also research, sometimes what happens, the students are very much ambitious and they too selected the different states of doing the research, but at the end of the day they found that it is very cost effective, very cost expensive, sorry, very cost expensive. So then they in between they used to change their methodology and drop their some of the states. So that's why whenever you select any kind of research and all, it should be very cost effective, and it should be acceptability of the result. Means you should think about that, some kind of expected outcome which will be accepted by the society as a whole. The researchers should ensure that the research question is very clear and very specific. It reflects the objectives of the study. The literature has no answer for it. And finding an answer to the question will at least find a solution to the problem studied. So what exactly you have to do? You have to mention the research question very clearly and ensure that the research questions are much more specific in nature, and it reflects the objectivity of your study. And see, suppose your objective is something different and your research question has no link with your objectives, so then it is a problem. So when your research question should be linked to your objectives, and you should develop certain kind of research question which has a link to your objective only, and according to your objective, your research question, your variable, everything should be framed. And so because what exactly happened, your literature review will not answer to your problem, rather your field, your exposure, your data which you will collect will have to answer your problem, will give a solution to your problem. But if at the end of the day you find that the data which you have collected has no solution to your problem, then there will be a huge problem. So that's why while selecting your problem, you should be very much careful, and what kind of objective will emerge from this problem, what kind of research question will come from this problem, is it feasible in my part to answer all these questions, is it feasible in my part to get the answer, go to the field, meet so and so people within this time framework, and do the research in a right way. All these things should be very much careful. Then you have to refining the research ideas. So how you will refine the research ideas? You interact with the lots of the people, take their advice. It is not only that you should be very much only interact only with your supervisor, rather you interact with other professors or even your friends, even whomever you know earlier, or if you have another network, you find out the people, professors working in this area of research. You contact them through mail, you establish a network with them. So then taking the advice of everybody, you can develop and formulate a research ideas and also refine your research ideas into in a very framed way. Conducting a preliminary study will be useful. It is helpful before finalizing the topic. See, that's why I always tell the students. Suppose if you want to finalize a topics, what on which area you have to do. Suppose now recently I took few students for my PhD. I told the students, you go first. I gave an opportunity to them that what are the area you have interest. So then they have discussed with me that these are the areas sir we have interest. Then accordingly I also have to think, because actually whether I have an expertise in those areas or not. Because if I don't have an expertise, it might be difficult in my part to guide them. So that's why what I'm telling, while we are doing the research, we have to find out. It is not that we have to immediately find out one problem and come with that problem, and the problem may not have much strength to do the research also. Because sometimes what happens, we select a problem which is not having much strength to do it as in PhD mode. Because sometimes what happens, we find out a problem and then we should know, we are not comparing whether that problem is feasible only for an MA dissertation or for an MPhil dissertation or for a small projects or for doing the PhD. Because if you are doing a PhD, you have to find out an area on which exactly the domain of interest will be more. And then an exposure visit, or so that's why it is highly essential. Suppose you develop an interest in a particular topic, but before finalizing your problem, so you should have a field exposure. You should go to the field. You should have a field experience. If you have earlier experience, that's fine. Otherwise, you can have a visit to the field, see the real problem in the field, what exactly the problem is happening. Then accordingly, by seeing certain kind of experience from the field, you can select your problem. So need to continually test out the ideas. When you develop an ideas, that ideas should be discussed with others, that ideas to be tested by the others. One need to integrate ideas rather than looking at them disjointly. So means when you develop an idea, that should be integrated in a joint manner, taking the advice of different people. It should not be only selected in a single mode. Before finalizing the topic and objectives, one need to reflect on the topics chosen. See, while you are selecting the topics and objectives, you should be very much careful. It should not be that your objective is different than your topics. Your objective means you should not select the objective which has no link with your problems. Because generally what sometimes we found that the students come with a different problems and then objective is something different way. So you should be very much careful that your objective is linked with your problem. Because unless and until your objective is linked with your problem, you may be face problem in the future the moment you collect the information. Because we have experienced that sometimes what happens, the students used to go to the field. I'll give an example even from my own experience of my own students. So I told him categorically go to the field initially, but he was a little reluctant. Then he gave his research proposal and all. So then I told him the area on which you are working uh, is fine, but we should go for a little further, exploring the new ideas and the new areas, new domain relating to your broad area of research. Then I suggested some of the aspect to him while he went for a kind of pilot study. So when he went for a pilot study, I just told him that these are the aspects which are mostly neglected in most of the research. Why you are not just having a kind of look in your field, that to what extent this problem is being exercised and the people's view is being taken up while resolving these issues, and why this problem is still continuing in the field, not only in India, rather in the different parts of the world. So when he went to the field, when he interacted with the peoples, and he found that what exactly I suggested are much problematic in the field, and he found that the ideas which I shared with him is really should be explored, and it is not at all explored in a more integrated way. So then he done within few days. Then he started rewriting his proposal and told me, sir, that sir, your ideas which you had given is highly essential in the contemporary day to explore, and which I experienced from the field. So that's what I'm telling what exactly happened. His proposal is completely changed thereafter. So that's what I'm telling, that your field exposure before finalizing the topic is highly essential. Your objectives have to be very specific, and it should be measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. See, while you are formulating your objective, you should be very clear that your objective is very specific and it can be measured, it can be achieved, it is having a realistic and timely, you can meet it. And if you formulate certain kind of, I was telling that the same thing. Suppose you started doing an MA project, you come with a 5-6 objective. Then I will tell you will have a very few months in your hand, and you will have a 1 month only exposure to the field. Then how come you will cover all the 6 objectives? So that's the problem. The students becomes very ambitious. So you should be very specific to your objective, which you can measure, which you can achieve, which is realistic within the specific time period, and which also timely can be done. So unless and until you link with all these aspects, then your objective of your research will be also not framed. So that is also highly essential. You should be very much careful about that. The pure versus applied and action research. What is action research? What is action research? See, generally, whenever we are doing any kind of development research and all, what usually happens, we are only while we are doing specifically the academic research and action research. In academic research, usually we try to find the problems. We took a problem, then we explored another problem, and also we gave a solution to that. Generally, it is not advised to give a solution, but we always give some suggestion for the solution of this problem. But action research actually, it covers both the things. And we do the research, find the problems, then give a solution and solve that problem also. Because it is not that simply if I give a solution, so it will work. Rather, I have to solve it. So action research means finding the problems, finding this way of finding this method of solution, then also solving it at the grassroots level. These are the things which is highly essential. Pure and applied research as well as action research appears to be distinctly different, but there exists a close rapport between them. All these research are very much close to each other. Only some specific domains are different. The relationship is like the rule and its applications, almost same. There is no such kind of differences in the rules and its application in the field. Pure and basic research is done by the academics and is undertaken for the sake of knowledge and undertaken out of intellectual curiosity and is not a problem oriented. We usually do some theoretical research, we do this research in a, mostly we never do kind of any problem oriented kind of research. We generally mostly do our research to developing the knowledge, and also for our intellectual ground we do the academic research. But basic social research root there when the results are published in a peer-reviewed journals and have an impact on the scientific community. Generally, this is our domain of research. And applied research is undertaken by applied social researchers who are employed by the sponsor. So whenever we are taking any project or not, that is called applied research. We are being sponsored by a sponsor and we find a problem, we discussed about a problem, and then we find a solution and suggested to the sponsoring agency that these are the solutions which we are suggesting. If you implement this suggestion, this will be overcome those problems. But success for applied social researcher is their results are used by their sponsor in decision making. Because we may give a suggestion, but the sponsor has to use this. Applied researcher applies social scientific knowledge, but do not add to the body of knowledge. Applied researchers, what they do? They use the knowledge, but generally, and they give some suggestion, but they never give a theoretical contribution to the existing body of knowledge. Applied researchers work for groups that manage and access the programs aimed at influencing the human social condition. So means they usually try to find a solution to the problems. Then action research aims to contribute both to the practical concern of the people in current problematic context. Action research, they find out the problem and then they find out the mechanism of solution, then they try to resolve it at the grassroots levels, because they are in action mode. They want to do certain kind of things through which the problems will be solved at the grassroots level or at the field level. it is a work in progress and has been accepted as a valid research method in applied field like organizational development and education. Most of the time, what exactly happens, you will see the development agency, the NGOs are mostly doing the action research. They try to take a problems, then they do the research on that, they find out the problems, they find out the solution to that, then they implement that, taking that mechanism of solution, and they try to resolve the problem. I'll just tell you one example of, from my own experience of action research. See, when I started my career as a kind of within donor agency, and they are mostly also working as an implementing agency with a partnership board. So there is a tribe called Chenchu tribe in Sri Salam Tiger Reserve areas in recently in Telangana state. So there are 10,000 Chenchu households in that regions, and I was assigned a task from my organization as a research analyst to do the research regarding that a baseline survey of all these Chenchu households and what exactly their source of income and how they're earning and what kind of what are the major problems they're facing in their day-to-day lives in sustaining their livelihoods and all. Then when I went to the field and from my theoretical knowledge and all, and again when I'm using my theoretical academic knowledge into the field, I found that because I have studied that the Chenchus are mostly the hunting and gatherers community, and they're still continuing practicing the hunting and gathering activities, and they are not completely as a settled agriculturalist. So when we went to the field, and I found that from my theoretical knowledge, the earlier knowledge, I found that the mostly the Chenchus are collecting the honeys from the rock, there are mountains, there are hills, from there they're collecting the honeys. But what I found, their mechanism, their methods of harvesting honey is not scientific in nature, because the methods they're adopting in collecting the honey may not sustain in the future, and the time will come when the honeybees will leave that place. Most of the honeybee will die, the queen honeybee will also die, and the combs will be destroyed, because they usually use the higher in collecting the honey from these rocks. And also the way they are climbing the rocks and all, that was also not very scientific, and that was more accidental in nature, because most of the time they may face problems in the while climbing the rocks, and also at the same time while letting the fires into the honeycombs. Sometimes the honeybees also attack, and they most of the time being affected by that. So what exactly I found these are the major problems they are finding in their day-to-day life while they're collecting the honey. Then what exactly I found that is means the major problem is the climbing the rocks. They don't have other modern mechanism to climbing the rocks. The second I found, the method of harvesting is not sustainable, because putting the fires through that, what is happening? The moment you are going to put the fires, there is a high chance that they may attack you, and you might be attacked. Most of the time also they are highly attacked by the honeybees, and most of the time some people also died, some people also hospitalized. And also what the next problem I found, that the methods they are using for collection may not be sustained in the nature, because it is destroying the honeycombs, killing the queen honeybee, and also most of the honeybees are also being killed. So if the honeybees will be killed, the queen will be killed, the combs will be destroyed, then it will take again long time to come forward and also do all these activities. So that's why I tried to find out a solution to all these problems. Then I first thought that okay, we can find a solution to the climbing to the rocks. We should find a proper mechanism of climbing the rocks. Then we should find a particular dress if they wear. Then even if the honeybee will attack them, then there is nothing. No harm will happen to their body. Hairs and eyes and all these parts can be set. Then third thing we adopted, that how the methods of collection will be more sustainable. Then we thought that instead of putting the fires, let them directly get into the completely wearing a kit, wearing a complete dress kind of thing, like a corona patient people are dealing having a complete coverage, complete kit and all. We thought that okay, we can contribute some kit to them, so that wearing the kit they can go and they can simply break the comb and collect the honey by using the gloves and all. Through that, what will happen? Not a single honeybee will die, no queen will die, and at the same time they can very easily collect all the honeys. The honeycombs will be not destroyed. Some part they can destroy and collect the honey, then let other part to be there for the time being, then immediately they will expand, because if you completely destroy the honeycombs, so then again they will take time in developing the honeycombs, because if some person you can kept, immediately they can develop this honeycomb in a bigger way, and their continuation with that particular space will continue. So that what exactly that is called action research, because we did the academic research, we found the problems, then immediately we gave a solution, we trained them, we finded out the leaders from the tribal villages, then we trained them, then we told them that you have to train to the other villagers, because we cannot train to all the villagers. So that what will happen, slowly the problem has been solved. It is a work in progress and has been accepted as a valid research method in applied fields like organizational development and education. So that's why the action research should be very useful in our domain of research. So then review of literature, which I have already told you, that it surveys scientific articles, books, journal, dissertation, and other sources which are highly relevant to a particular area, and research or theories. These are the things which is highly essential. It provides the background and context of the research problem, because if you do more literature, if you review the more literature, if you study more and more books, articles, journals, it will give a in-depth knowledge, it will widen your knowledge, it will strengthen your knowledge by using your strength and knowledge. Because you see, generally what happens most of the times, the students feel that, sir, my review is finished. But you see, review is a continuous process. Review should continue till you submit your report, submit your thesis, submit your dissertation, because through that what will happen at each and every moment of your life, during the entire course of your writing and developing the questionnaire and all, where we got the knowledge for developing the questionnaire? The literature review will give you knowledge of identifying the variables. Then once your variable is also being identified, also what kind of question you may posed in the field, what are the other problems the people found in the field, and how you can formulate those problems in your field, assuming that these are same kind of problem, similar kind of problem may be continuing in your field, then how you can resolve these problems in the field. All these things are highly essential, because unless and until you are having an in-depth knowledge or the different literature which are available in the market, you cannot formulate a good problems, and you cannot give a justice to your problem. You might be identified a problem based on certain kind of literature, but if you stop studying, if you start reviewing the contemporary literature, if you stop reading the new literatures are every day available in the market, because lots of people are doing the research, because if you complete, suppose PhD you are taking 4 to 5 years. Suppose if you complete your domain of review within the 2 years, then you start doing everything and you completely ignored your review. Suppose you submitted the thesis after 5 years, and then definitely the examiner will ask you that your research is not such an innovative, because already some people have done the research in this area, because already what are the new recent review you have done, because your review is 3 years back, because within the 3 years there are lots of things might have happened. So that's why you should be much careful about the literature review. Establishes the need for research in the area. You should be very much careful about establishes whatever is happened already in this domain of research. Then result of other studies and their relevance for the research problem. So while you will do the research, do the literature review, you have to be very much careful that the result of different studies, that is highly essential. While you do so and so, while doing the research in so and so topics in so and so area, they found this is the problem they found, and this is the result they found, this is the solution they found. That should be also highlighted in your literature, and also it should be highlighted in your thesis. Offers basis for comparison of your research with other findings. You should always compare your research also with other kind of findings, because unless and until you compare your findings with other research, it will be also not give a proper justice. Then demonstrate your knowledge of the research problem. So whatever you studied, you have to demonstrate that to what extent your knowledge is linked to the available literature, and what more knowledge you can gain from the existing literature, in what sense your ideas is being defined in relating to the existing literature, and what kind of contradiction is found within the literature, and how you can utilize those contradictions in the literature as a kind of strength for your research. That is highly also essential. So then shows your ability to critically evaluate the relevant literature. Means you should always critically evaluate the literature. Indicates your ability to synthesize and integrate the existing literature. You can see there are lots of the people have told similar things. You should develop an ability to synthesize all these similar kind of findings and integrate them to the existing literature. You should not completely repeat the similar things. So and so study, so and so person while doing so and so study in so and so area found this X. So and so person while doing so and so study in so and so areas find the X. Means if the result is similar, you have to synthesize them, you have to club them, you have to integrate them, then only you can write in the existing literature. You can mention Das, Mishra, Sao, suppose, and so while doing the study in so and so area, found in different parts of the countries, they found the similar, found so and so things. So that what will happen? You are clubbing. Or if you are giving a particular statement, then in the bracket you can write the surname of the author, then the year. You can club 5-6 similar kind of people, which is similar kind of finding what you have mentioned in a statement form. So provides a new theoretical insights in order to evolve new conceptual framework or the model. You have to always try to find out new theoretical insights into your research. Through that, what will happen? You can develop certain kind of new frameworks. Points out that your research will make a significant contribution to the existing literature in the problem area. So that should be in your mind from the very beginning. So you have to think that your research will give a significant contribution to the existing literature or the problem which you have selected. The literature which is linked to your problem will be strengthened by getting your theoretical contribution to the existing research. So I'll stop here, then we'll go to the research design in the next, because already it is around 9, you might have another class. So anybody, any doubt over this? Because I
Hello.
ah,
So, can we say that finding a new vaccine for COVID-19 comes under applied research?
finding, I didn't get you.
So, we are now finding like a new vaccine to the COVID-19, right? Like
Hmm.
different NGOs and organizations are like trying to find it. So, can we take it like it will come under applied research?
See, this can be both applied and experimental research also. See, that is actually applied research also, because exactly, see, you are doing your design is experimental design. Your design is experimental, and which will be an applied form, because your research is applied actually, because you are trying to explore something which will be applicable to the society.
Okay, sir.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Tell.
Sir, I'm Rishika.
Tell.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question with regarding to the literature review in the assignment you gave. Sir, I was bit confused with the literature review and how to go for the assignment.
What are the topic